Hi, welcome back. Let's continue with the part 2 to read the Master Driver's Guide to Driving in Germany. Electronic sign showing left lane closed ahead and 100 km of speed limit in open lanes. Over 1,700 km of Autobahn are a part of dynamic alternate route systems. These systems employ changeable guide signs which, when activated, display recommended alternate route guidance to help drivers avoid congestion. Some areas employ substitute routing, where the destinations shown on the standard blue guide signs are changed using mechanical panels to reroute traffic onto different routes. In other areas, additive routing is utilized. In this case, the regular blue guide signs are static, but additional white signs are changeable panels. And the big orange alternate route arrow symbols are used. The arrow points in the recommended direction to follow along the destination city, route number, or vehicle types. Example trucks. That the suggested alternate route applies to. For instance, in the picture below, traffic headed to Deggendorf and the Munich airport is being advised to exit in 1200 meters and follow the A99 and E92. Once you are on one of these alternate routes, continue to follow alternate route arrow signs until you have reached your destination or have returned to the original route. Note that many times much of the alternate route is marked by permanent static sign, but a dynamic sign is used at the initial decision point. Okay, Deggendorf, München, Flughafen, Uber 9992, 100, 1200 meter. Changeable signs, changeable sign showing recommended alternate route. Emergencies. It's important. In the event of an accident, breakdown, or other emergency along the Autobahn, you are never more than a kilometer away from help. Emergency telephones, Notrufs, Notruf Notrufs Aule, are located at 2 kilometer interval along the side of the road. Again, once again, I'm sorry for the mispronunciation of the German word. I'll try to be learn it in much better way. But so far, please bear me. The direction to the nearest phone is indicated by small arrows atop the roadside reflector post. In long tunnels, emergency phones are located in safe rooms every 100 to 200 meters. Autobahn emergency phone. Roadside post with arrow pointing direction to near nearest emergency phone. The emergency phone system was privatized several years ago. Oh, really? It's a private thing. All calls go to a central call center in Hamburg. Hmm. In the event of any accident, dispatchers there will immediately connect the caller to the nearest police or emergency service office. For breakdowns, the dispatcher will obtain the information necessary to send the appropriate service. This may include the yellow angles of the ADAC or AVD Auto Club, a tow truck or an insurance dealership or rental car repair service. Roadside assistance is free, but you will likely have to pay for parts. If you need to be told, there is no charge to remove the vehicle from the Autobahn, but you will have to pay for towing beyond that. If you are driving a rental car, and all services should be covered by the rental agency. There are now two varieties of emergency phones in use. On the older phone, you will find a cover with a handle. Lift the cover all the way and wait for a dispatcher to answer. Oh, old technology. The newer phones don't have a cover. Instead, they have an external speaker or microphone area with two buttons that you can press to connect you to the appropriate dispatcher. There is a yellow button with a wrench symbol for reporting a breakdown and a red button with a red cross to report an accident. Press the appropriate button and wait for a reply. In more cases, the location of the phone is transmitted automatically when your caller is connected. I'm so sorry. The location of the phone is transmitted automatically when your call is connected. If not, you will need to give the dispatcher the kilometer location of the phone as indicated on a label on the inside of the cover or near the speaker and your direction of travel. For an accident, report the number of vehicles involved and any injuries. For a breakdown, be prepared to report the vehicle's license number and make and model, color, and your auto club, insurance company, or rental agency. An English speaking dispatcher is usually available. After calling, return to your vehicle or the accident scene and wait for the help. For breakdowns, someone will arrive shortly to assist you. In the event of an accident, a cavalry, I'm so sorry, a caval- cavalry of emergency aid will descend on you. Cavalry of emergency aid will descend on you. Police, fire services, ambulance, and emergency doctors all respond to Autobahn crashes. A medical evacuation helicopter is also always on standby. Old style emergency phone, there is an image, and new style emergency phone. Now we are at the third section, rules of the road. Below is a comprehensive overview of German road traffic rules based on my interpretation on the current Straßenverkehrsordnung (STVO) distributed by the Federal Transport Ministry. In this section, licensing, general laws and enforcement, right of way, speed limits, drink and driving, park regulations, urban traffic regulations, traffic claiming zones, autobahn traffic regulations, additional prohibition, and accidents. The most important section for newcomer is the right of way discussion. Licensing, licensing. If you are a visiting or posted to Germany, you will not be classed as establishing residency. Therefore, if you hold a driver's license from any EU country, European Union country, it is valid in Germany for as long as you are there. If your license not issued by an EU country, then you will normally only have a 6 month limit, after which you should apply for an EU patent license. In addition to your driving license, if you are a serving member of the armed forces, a member of the civil component, or a dependent and posted to Germany, you must also hold a BFG driving permit, that is BFG 57. This permit does not replace your driving license but is a requirement to prove you have a knowledge of the local traffic regulation and can only be obtained after passing an European Highway Code test, the matrix test. Full details can be found in SOBAG 4310 or from your local BFG licensing office. The minimum age to drive a car in Germany is 18. However, due to an agreement between the federal government and NATO forces, British forces personnel, members of the civil component, and their dependents holding a full UK driving license can drive at 17. General laws and enforcement. Traffic drive Traffic drives on the right and passes on the left. Seat belts must be worn by drivers and all passengers. Children under 12 years old or shorter than 1.5 meters must use an approved child seat. You must leave your doors unlocked while driving to facilitate rescue in any accident. Drivers must have a minimum of third party liability insurance. Vehicles must carry a warning triangle, one dry and a STVO compliant highway first aid kit PKW Verband Kasten and a high vis vest which must be accessible from the driver's seat. Germany does not require a fire extinguisher, Feuerlöscher, but you are recommended to carry one anyway. You must place the warning triangle 100 meter behind your vehicle if it is disabled and 200 meters on the Autobahn. It is illegal to drive with your side or parking lights only and you must Oh, it is illegal to drive with your side or parking lights only, and you must use your headlights at night and during inclement weather. Motorcyclists must ride with helmets and headlights on at all times. The German Civil Police GCP are allowed to collect fines, Verwarnung, Verwarnungsgeld for most traffic offense on the spot. If you don't have enough cash on hand, your vehicle may be impounded at additional cost. So general law and enforcement. The first is traffic drives on the right and passes on the left. Do not worry if you are requested to pay a spot fine, as the GCP are very professional and corruption is very rare, and you will be given a receipt for the payment. Be aware of speed and enforcement cameras. Automatic cameras are stationed to catch speeders, red light violators, and tailgaters. Sometimes an obscure sign will warn you of the existence of such a camera. However, these are not mandatory and it's usually too late by then. You will sometimes spot temporary cameras set up along the side of the Autobahn or on an overpass watching for tailgaters or speeders. Tickets are mailed to the registered owner of the vehicle within few weeks. Even if you have a BFG registration, sometimes the GCP will travel along in unmarked cars or vans with front and rear mounted cameras looking for violators. Looking for violations. If you get busted, you will likely be signaled to pull over by a lollipop, traffic paddle, a white disc with red bull's eye on a short stick. Oh, being held out of the window and perhaps a flashing sign on the back of the vehicle reading Polizei bitte folgen. Police, please follow. Oh, okay. Right of the way. German uses a hierarchical system to determine right of way. Vorfahrt, Vorrang. At junction, the following list shows this hierarchy. Police officer. A police officer directing traffic overrides all other traffic controls. Many officers use obvious motion to direct traffic. However, if an officer is not motioning and has both shoulders facing you, often with arms outstretched, you must wait. This applies to a traffic behind him as well as in front of him. If he has just one shoulder facing you, you have the right of way. If he has one hand in the air, he is preparing to change the traffic flow, equivalent to a yellow light, and all traffic must stop. Police and crossing guards may also use a traffic paddle, lollipop. This is equivalent to a stop sign. Traffic signals. Traffic signals are the next highest right of way control. Traffic signals are discussed in the detail on the sign, signals and marking page. Signs. Signs are the most common right of way control. Germany uses a system of priority roads, Vorfahrtstraßen, to assign right of way. Priority roads are marked with a sign. Traffic on a priority road has the right of way, priority over other traffic at all the junctions along the way. Intersecting roads will have a give way or stop sign. The give way sign is like inverted triangle, indicates that you must give way to the traffic on the priority road, but you don't have to stop if the way is clear. The stop sign, it's a hexagonal, indicates and written stop in it, indicates that you must first come to a complete stop and then proceed when the way is clear. Often, priority roads make turns at intersection in town. These turns are indicated by a schematic sign. It's like showing the direction of the turn. On the sign, you are approaching from the bottom. The traffic proceeding in the direction of the thick line has the right of way. The traffic leaving the priority road must yield to other traffic continuing along the priority road but still has the right of way over traffic on the other street. By the way, if you are following a priority road that turns, you will still must use your indicators. Priority roads are cancelled by the sign or by a give way or stop sign. On roads that are not priority roads, right of way may be granted by the like church sign. I don't know. This sign indicates that you have the right of way only at the next junction. Only at the next junction only. Okay. The sign above are also usually posted at the junction controlled by the traffic light signals. Traffic light signals takes precedence over the signs unless the signal is not operating. Then the signs govern traffic priority. Default right of way scheme. If there is no policeman, no signal, or no sign indicating the right of way, then the following default scheme is used. Public road has priority. Traffic on public highway has priority over private drives, forest and farm path and dirty roads. Right has right of way. When two public roads cross at an uncontrolled junction, then the right of way is always given to traffic approaching from the right. This includes T junctions. In the UK, traffic on the thorough street of a T usually has the right of way. In Germany, you must give way to the right even if you are on the thorough road. This also includes the rare situation where a main road and small side street crosses at an uncontrolled junction. Heavy traffic rules. Whenever traffic is heavily congested, normal right of way rules go out the window and the zipper rule. Reiseverschluss, So sorry for that German pronunciation once again. I don't know how many times I need to apologize, but please bear with me. Goes into effect. Zipper rules goes into effect. This means that cars feed one at a time, alternating from each direction, regardless of who has posted a right of way. The zipper rule also applies when one lane ends and merges into another. Each vehicle in the thorough lane through lane must allow one vehicle from the turn, turn, truncated lane to merge in. Do not enter a junction if traffic is backed up on the other side of the junction, even if you have a green light. Other right of way rules. In situation of otherwise equal right of way, vehicle going straight have priority following by right turns. Left turns go last. Traffic entering a roundabout technically has the right of way unless the entrance is marked with a it's like circles with a sign which it usually is. Emergency vehicles with a flashing blue light and siren sounding always have the right of way. Of course, you must pull over to the right hand side of the road when one approaches. You should give way to trams at junctions. Don't pass a stopped tram if it is discharging passengers directly on to the street. You may continue on when the doors have closed. Buses leaving a marked bus stop have the right of way. One narrow road section, the just one arrow signs give you the priority over oncoming traffic, and the both way arrow sign means you must give a way to oncoming traffic. Tip: the red arrow must give way. On narrow mountainous road, traffic going uphill has the right of way. On roads where passing is difficult or not allowed, slower traffic is required to pull over when possible to allow faster traffic to go by. Lay-bys are sometimes provided for this purpose. Pedestrians always have the right of way when on a marked crossing. Vehicles entering an Autobahn or expressway must give way to other traffic already on the Autobahn or expressway. Speed limits. In Germany, there is a set of general or default speed limits. Gish, Gish, Windischkeit, Beschränkung, Geschwindigkeit, Beschränkung. Once again, I'm so sorry. There are the limits you must obey in the absence of signs. Within urban area, whilst outside urban areas, autobahns and expressways, 50, 100, 130, 50, 80, 80, 80. Okay. Bike and car 50, 100, 130. Bike, trailer, car attached with a trailer, trucks, buses 50, 80, 80. 50 within urban areas, 80 outside urban areas. On Autobahn and expressway is 80. And for the trucks with another container attached or greater than 7.5 ton within urban areas it's 50, outside urban areas it's 60, and on autobahns and expressway it's 80. Got it. Some vehicles may be exempt from the 80 km per hour on autobahn speed limit. These vehicles display a decal resembling a speed limit sign indicating the speed they are permitted to travel, normally 100 km per hour. Signs, of course, supersede the default limits. This type 30 in circle and zone. This type of zone sign indicates the speed limit for an entire neighborhood. The 30 speed limit remains in effect on all streets within the zone until you pass a sign like 30 and diagonally cross lines, cancelling it. There are a few points about speed limit sign to be aware of. Although the speed limit cancellation sign will only show the last posted speed limit, it actually cancels all previous posted limits and indicates a return to the default speed limit for the road you are on. For example, you are traveling down a rural road at the default speed limit of 100 km per hour. When you come to a sign, a 80 sign, therefore you slow down to 80. A kilometer or so later, you come to 60 sign, so you slow down to 60. After a while, you pass a cancelling of 60 sign in circle. What speed do you return to? The answer is to the default speed limit of 100 km per hour. The 60 cancellation sign cancel all the previous posted speed limit, not just the 60 km per hour limit. Whenever a speed limit sign is mounted beneath a warning sign, the speed limit only applies until you pass the hazard indicated on the warning sign. For instance, if you come to a triangle which has a signal sign with a 60 sign below it, the 60 km per hour speed limit is in effect only until you pass the traffic signal, after which you can then return to the default speed limit if no other speed or limit signs are posted. The circle and cross signs indicate the end of all previous posted speed limit and the end of any no passing zone. However, the default speed limit still applies. Other speed limits. When fog reduces visibility to less than 50 meters, the maximum speed you may drive is 50 km per hour. When a bus is stopped at a bus stop on the highway with hazard lights flashing, the traffic in both directions may only pass at the speed of 7 km per hour or less. 7 km. Oh. Whenever a child or an elderly or handicapped person is near the road, drivers are required to remove their foot from the accelerator and be prepared to stop. German courts have upheld that the driver is ultimately responsible for preventing accident in this situation, no matter the action of the other person. So remove the foot from the accelerator and be ready to stop. Okay. Drinking and driving. The penalties for driving under the influence in Germany are harsh. Severe penalties are assessed to first time offenders, usually including the suspension of your license. Penalties for drunk driving now start with a blood alcohol limit as low as 0.03. With the high alcohol content of German social beverages, it doesn't take long to hit the limit. Moreover, if you have an accident and the court may determine whether alcohol was a factor even if your blood alcohol content is below the limit. The best advice is this: if you drink at all, don't drive. Don't forget that driving under the influence of drugs, prescription, or recreational is also illegal. Parking regulations. In Germany, you are considered parked if you leave your vehicle or if you stop or stand for longer than 3 minutes, unless you are actively boarding or discharging passengers or loading and or unloading cargo. You may not park within 5 meters on either side of a junction, in front of a driveway entrance or exit, or on the opposite side of the street if the roadway is too narrow or allow vehicles to enter or exit the driveway. If parking will obstruct the use of marked parking places within 15 meters on either side of a bus or tram stop marked with a H sign, within 50 meters of either side of a sign when outside of urban areas or within 5 meters when inside an urban area, on a priority road outside of urban areas, in front of a drop curb or wheelchair ramp, adjacent to a traffic island or a median, on the street side of another parked vehicle, double parked. In rural areas where the edge of the carriageway has a solid white line, you may not park to the left of the line on the carriageway. Anywhere there is a symbol of no parking sign, you may not stop or stand on the side of the road, on narrow roads or in blind spot, near sharp bends, or on or within 5 meters approaching a pedestrian crossing, on railway crossing or tracks, in or adjacent to turn lanes, those marked with the arrows on the road surface, in front of and approaching a fire station driveway, within a traffic circle or roundabout, at a taxi stand marked with a taxi sign, on the Autobahn, within 10 meters in front of inverted triangle stop or a sign or traffic signals if parking would obstruct the view of the sign signals. Anywhere there is a sign except where prohibited. See above, on a street parking is generally permitted. When you park, there must be a gap of at least 3 meters between your vehicle and the middle of the street or the nearest lane line. In many places, you may park partially or entirely on the pavement to fulfill this requirement. Look for the signs permitting this or other vehicles doing so before you do it. If you do, make sure there is a sufficient room for pedestrian on the sidewalk. Vehicles over 2.8 ton may not park on the pavement. You must park on the right side of the street unless you are on a one-way street and parking on the left would leave sufficient room for vehicle to pass. There are rails along the right side. You may not park, stop, or stand in a traffic lane if there is a shoulder or parking lane. When parking on a street at night, you must use your parking lights unless you are parked near an all night street light. Street lights that do not remain on for the entire night are marked with a white and red band around the lamp post. The P sign indicates where parking is permitted on streets or given direction to an off-street parking facility. When used to mark on-street parking, it is usually accompanied by additional signs indicating when parking is permitted, who is permitted to park, or that the use of a parking permit, voucher, or a disc is required. For more information on finding parking in cities and using parking facilities, see the Driving and Parking in German Cities page. Parking control zones. The zone sign indicate the entrance to an area of neighborhood where there is a general parking restriction. Supplemental signs will indicate what the restriction is, such as parking restricted to residents or certain permit holders or a requirement to use a parking voucher or disc. All streets in the area are included in this restriction until the sign is reached. Parking violations. Parking fines vary but are typically around 40 euro if you are obstructing traffic or a driveway. Your vehicle will almost surely become the temporary property of the police. In such an event, call the police to settle the situation. Urban traffic regulations. This type of sign, Wilster Kreis Steinberg, marks the entrance to an urban area. Upon passing this sign, several special traffic regulations go into effect. Speed limit 50 km per hour. You may not honk your horn except when necessary to avoid a collision. Parking is prohibited within 5 meters of a railroad crossing. You must ensure that your vehicle can be seen when parked at night. This may require the use of parking lights if street lighting is inadequate or does not remain on all night. Such lights are marked by a red and white band around lamppost. This sign, shorten 6 km and Wilster is crossed, indicates that you are leaving the built up area associated and its associated traffic regulation. The following general regulations apply. Speed limit of 100 km per hour for light vehicles unless sign show otherwise. Parking is prohibited on priority roads. Parking is prohibited within 50 meters of railroad crossing. Disabled vehicles must be marked with a warning triangles. Traffic claiming zones. Traffic claiming zone. Verkehr Beru, Berung, Berucht zone are usually implemented on small residential streets. The start of a traffic claiming zone is marked by person, car, children playing football, house sign, and the cross sign marks at the end of such zone. Within traffic claiming zone, the following rules apply. Traffic must maintain the lowest possible speed, no more than 7 km per hour. Pedestrian may use the entire street. Children are permitted to play in the street. Motorists may not endanger or hinder pedestrian. When necessary, motorists must wait. Pedestrian may not unnecessarily hinder traffic. Parking is not permitted outside of marked spaces except for boarding or discharging and loading or unloading. When leaving the zone, you must give way to all other traffic. Additional prohibitions. Use of mobile phones is prohibited while your vehicle is in operation. The only time you are permitted to use a mobile phone is if you are parked and the engine is turned off. You may use a hands free mobile phone when driving if it does not impede your hearing, that is, one earphone only. Vehicles with a gross permitted weight of 7.5 tons or more, with several exceptions, are prohibited from all public roads on Sunday and public holidays from 0000 to 22:00 hours, or from uh, 12 of midnight to 10 of night. Emissions zones are in operation in most large urban areas. These rules apply to both visitors and residents. You will be issued with a free emissions zone sticker for your car when you carry out your initial BFG registrations. Motorists are prohibited from unnecessarily revving their motors or slamming their car door excessively. It is also illegal to drive back and forth unnecessarily, that is, cruising in towns. Accident. If the unfortunate should happen and you should be involved in any accident, here is a list of what you should do. Stop immediately. This also applies if you are not directly involved in the accident but are a witness. If anyone is injured, call for an ambulance and the police from a phone booth or a mobile phone. Dial 112. On autobahns or other major highways, use the nearest emergency telephone, the direction of which is marked by arrow atop the black and white post along the roadside. You are required by law to give the first aid to any injured person. Remember the super duper first aid kit you are supposed to carry. This is where it comes in handy. Germans, by the way, are required to take a first aid class to obtain a driver license. Do not move anybody that is injured unless it is absolutely necessary. If there is a fire or spilled fuel, get everyone involved away from the vehicles and call the fire department. If nobody is injured and the vehicle can be moved safely, you should mark the location of each vehicle and then move them out of traffic. You can mark the location by drawing a diagram of the site and vehicles, taking photographs or usually traffic chalk to mark the physical location of the vehicles on the road before you move them. Most German automotive first aid kits have a stick of traffic chalk. It looks like a big yellow or a white crayon. Secure the accident site using a warning triangle placed 100 meters behind the scene, 200 meters on the Autobahns. Exchange information with the other drivers, including your driver's license, passport, insurance, green card, and if applicable, vehicle rental information. You should also call the police to the scene if you haven't already and have them take a report. Dial 112 or use any emergency phone. This ensures that all the proper I'm so sorry. This ensures that all the proper legal requirements are satisfied and helps protect you from future problems. If you damage an unoccupied vehicle, German law requires you to wait at the scene for at least 30 minutes for the owner to return. If the owner does not return, you must then report the accident to the police in person. It is probably best to call the police to the scene rather than go to a police station. In addition, in an garrison area, you could also call the local RMP duty road monitoring police RMP duty room for assistance. You might even want to do this immediately instead of waiting for the owners to return. Once the police have cleared you, you can leave the scene. If you are driving a rental car, you should contact the rental agency immediately to report the incident. They will give you the instruction on what to do next and will dispatch a tow truck if necessary. Section 4, Traffic Signs and Signals. Below is the comprehensive guide of German traffic signs, signals, and markings. This guide is designed for both the short term visitor wanting to learn German traffic signs in preparation for taking the Euromatrix test, as well as for someone who is studying to get a German or BFG military driver's permit BFG 57. This topic is divided into three subsections. First, signs, vehicle class symbols, supplemental sign, warning sign, railway crossing signs, right of way signs, speed limit signs, regulatory signs, parking signs, service signs, information and guide signs, miscellaneous signs, additional sign symbols, additional sign information, sign vocabulary, signals, road markings. Lot of signs, right? Signs. Germany has a comprehensive and uniform traffic sign system. All signs have standard shape and colors and use easy to understand international pictograms and symbols. The sign system was overhauled in the early 90s to more closely conform with European standards. Below, you will find a complete guide of German traffic signs with their official meaning and additional notes. These signs are from the official German traffic code STVO and include all updates through 2008. Officially, German traffic signs are divided into three major categories: warning signs, regulation sign, and guide signs. However, I have divided the sign collection into several additional categories and I have placed each sign where it is most logically belongs, regardless of its official designations. In the STVO, each sign is assigned an official number. This number is used on traffic tickets and accident report when a sign is involved in the incident. Vehicle class symbols. Traffic signs in Germany employ a set of standard symbols to indicate the type or class of vehicle being referred to on the sign. Some of the symbols are inclusive in that they encompass several lesser classes as well. Following tables outline this symbol and their meaning. Symbol description, other lesser included classes. First, motor vehicles include all multi-axle motorized vehicle. Okay. Caravan, bus, trailer attached to a truck, tractor, car attached with a trailer. Passenger vehicles include all cars and light trucks, car with a trailer and caravan. Vehicles over 3.5 ton includes all vehicle with a permitted gross weight over 3.5 tons, the trailer and any other vehicle that does not qualify as a passenger vehicle. It specifically does not include buses. Motorcycles include motorcycle with sidecars and mopeds. The following are the remaining vehicle class symbol: mopeds, mofas, mokicks, bicycle, buses. Passenger vehicles with trailers, vehicle over 3.5 tons with trailer, slow moving vehicle including tractor and other vehicle that cannot exceed 25 km per hour, and motor homes, caravan, cattle or animals, riders, pedestrian, tracked military vehicles, streetcars, rail vehicles, vehicle with marked hazardous cargo, vehicle carrying more than 3,000 liters of water pollutants. Supplemental signs. The German sign system uses a fair amount of supplemental signs. Zeus, Satz, Child, Schild, Zuzat's Shield. Sorry. These are black and white rectangular or square sign mounted below a parent sign and are used to modify or give additional information such as exemption, restrictions, or more specific details. Regarding the conditions shown on the parent sign, supplemental sign uses symbols wherever possible, but most supplemental signs use words to help you decipher the signs. A complete vocabulary list is provided at the end of the signs section. Because of the large number of supplemental signs, Not all of them are shown on this page. Instead, I have included the most frequent ones in their most common usage, especially the ones that use symbols. The most common use of supplemental signs is for distance. There are two such signs: the distance to the parent sign's condition and the duration of the condition. 400 meter distance to the condition shown on the parent sign on the rectangular border. Duration length of the condition shown on the parent sign 3 kilometer. Double arrow pointing there. Here are some examples to better illustrate the difference between the two types of distance signs. A signal triangle 200 meter, traffic signal 200 meters ahead, a bump and 800 meter, rough road next 800 meters, Autobahn ends 2 kilometers ahead, no passing next 1 kilometer, car next to car in a circle, and 1 kilometer at the bottom in the rectangle. Warning signs. This section contains signs that give advance warning of hazardous on or near the road. The standard shape for warning sign in Germany as in UK is a red triangle. General danger, a triangle in exclamation. This sign marks an area where extra caution should be used. It is rarely used by itself. Instead, a supplemental sign is usually mounted beneath this sign with information on a specific hazard for which no individual sign exists. Some examples of the more common combinations are below. Accidental hazard marks an area where a high number of accidents have occurred. Frog crossing. The road ahead is used by migrating frogs. Tree overhang. Drivers of truck and other high profile vehicles should be aware of low trees height. Winter sport along road. Watch out for people and be aware that the road may not be salted or gritted. Soft shoulder. Avoid driving on the shoulder. Soft shoulder for heavy vehicles. Rough road edge. There is a rough drop off along the edge of the road. Sliding danger. Used to warn of a downhill section with strong side winds that may have caused a vehicle pulling a trailer to lose control. Bend left, bend right, double bend. First bend is to the left, first bend is to the right. Lane shift, all lanes shift to the left. Lane shift right, all lanes shift to the right. Lane crossover left, all lanes crossover over the median to the left. Lane crossover right, all lanes cross over the median to the right. Lane split, left lanes crosses over to the left side of median, right lanes remains on the right side of median. Road shift, traffic is shifted briefly to the left or right then back again. 12%. Steep upgrade, the degree of ascent is shown. Steep downgrade 10%. The degree of descent is shown. Prepare to downshift. Falling rocks. Watch out for the rocks on the road and do not stop or park. Strong crosswind. Prepare to adjust steering as necessary and avoid passing. Rough road. Be aware of ice or snow. The road or bridge ahead freezes easily. Applicable during winter months. Slippery when wet or dry or dirty. I'm so sorry. Slippery when wet or dirty. Avoid sudden braking, accelerating, or steering. Loose gravel. Avoid sudden braking, accelerating, or steering. Road work. Watch for workers, machinery, dirt, or mud on the roadway. Traffic signals ahead. Be prepared to stop. Quay or river bank. There is an unguarded quay, river bank, or landing ahead or alongside the road. Drawbridge. Be prepared to stop. Pedestrian marks a general area where pedestrian may be on or near the road. Pedestrian crossing ahead. Pedestrian crossing marks a crosswalk and indicates that the pedestrian have the right of way and the rest of the border is colored. Watch for children posted near school and playground. Reduce speed and be prepared to stop quickly. Crossing guard marks a crosswalk where school crossing guards may direct traffic. Okay. Wild animals crossing. Be prepared to stop or swerve suddenly. Use low beam headlights. Domestic animal crossing. Watch for animals and mud on the road. Low flying aircraft. Be prepared for sudden noise and at night for the glare of landing lights. Congestion hazard marks an area where congestion frequently occurs and be prepared to slow down or stop. Bicycle crossing. Buses. Watch for buses entering, leaving, or crossing the road. Two-way traffic. Generally posted where the oncoming traffic is unexpected, such as when coming from one-way street to a two-way street. Road narrows. Road narrows left side. Road narrows to the right side. Two-way traffic. The number of lanes in each direction is shown. Left lane ends. Right lane ends. Left lane added. Right lane added. Lane added right, lane added left. Lanes added to another roadway. The lanes from your roadway are added to another roadway. You will not have too much. Okay. Railway crossing signs. This section shows all signs related to railway level crossings. Railway crossing with barriers ahead. Unguarded railway crossing ahead, however, there may be crossing signals. Triangle, railway track, and three stripes. Railway crossing approx 240 meters ahead. These countdown markers are located on the left and the right side of the road respectively and indicate that the crossing is about 240 meters ahead. A different distance may be shown on the marker if applicable. Approximate 160 meter to railway crossing. A different distance may be shown on a sign if applicable. Approximate 80 meters to railway crossing. A different distance may be shown on the sign if applicable. If three stripes, 240 meters, two stripes, 160 meters, and one stripe, 80 meters of railway crossings. Railway crossing on crossroad left. Railway crossing on crossroad right. Railway crossing, St. Andrew's Cross. Posted at the crossing, and you must stop here if a train is approaching. Electrified railway crossing. This railroad crossing has electrical wires overhead, and high profile vehicles should exercise caution. Railway crossing signal. This is now the standard railway crossing signal in Germany. Yellow indicates a train is approaching, stop if possible. Red means you must stop and remain stopped until the signal turns off. Railway crossing flasher. This is an old standard railroad crossing signal in Western Germany. You must stop when the red signal flashes. Railway crossing flasher. This is an old standard railroad crossing signal in East Germany, and you must stop when the red signal flashes. Priority or right of way signs. This sign shows This section shows signs related to rights of way. Priority road. You have the right you have the right of way at all junction on this road until cancelled by a give way, stop or end of priority road sign. Outside of urban areas, parking is prohibited on this road. End of priority road. You must give way at all subsequent junctions. Priority. You have the right of way at the next junction only. Give way. Inverted triangle. You must give way to traffic on the intersecting road. Stop. You must come to a complete stop and give way to a traffic on the intersecting road. Priority road turns left. The priority road wide black line turns left in the junction. Narrow lines show the other streets joining this junction. Priority road turns right. Priority road wide black line turns left in the junction. Narrow lines shows the other streets joining this junction. Give way to priority road, inverted triangle and the other symbol at the bottom. The priority road wide black line turns in the junction. You must give way to traffic following or leaving the priority road coming from the left or approaching from straight ahead. Give way to priority road. The priority road wide black line turns in the junction. You must give way to traffic following or leaving the priority road coming from the right to or approaching straight ahead. Stop and sign. Stop and give way to priority road. The same rules as give way to priority road above apply, but you must come to a complete stop first. Stop and give way to priority road. The same rules as give way to priority road above apply, but you must come to a complete stop first. Give way to roundabout. Traffic in the roundabout has right of way. Inverted triangle and a circle. Inverted triangle, bicycle and two-way. Give way and watch for bicycles. You must give way to all intersecting traffic, including traffic on the bicycle path. Inverted triangle, stop 100 meters. Stop ahead. There is a stop sign 100 meters ahead. Unmarked junction ahead. Triangle and cross sign in between. The junction is uncontrolled. Give way to traffic approaching from the right. Priority over oncoming traffic. You have the right of way over oncoming traffic along the narrow one lane road ahead. Give way to oncoming traffic. You must give way to oncoming traffic along the narrow one lane road ahead. Circle and two arrows opposite to each other. Speed limit signs. Below are the various signs related to speed limit. 60, circle and 60 in between. Maximum speed limit shown in kilometers per hour. 30 in zone written. Speed limit zone. This sign is posted at the entrance to a neighborhood where the speed limit shown applies to all street in the neighborhood until the end of speed limit zone sign is reached. Circle in 80 and there is a car in the square below it. Conditional speed limit. The speed limit shown is only in effect when the road is wet. 80 and the background in the circle is completely dark. Minimum speed limit shown in kilometer per hour. You must travel at this speed or faster unless road, weather or traffic condition make it necessary to drive slower. 100 in square and complete back in background. Shown in kilometer per hour indicates the recommended speed limit for good road, weather and traffic condition. Circle 60 and 4 cross lines like diagonal lines. End of speed limit. The general speed limit now applies. End of speed limit zone like circle, cross line, zone in square. End of minimum speed limit. End of recommended speed limit. Minimum speed limit by lane. A new lane is added ahead and the minimum speed limit shown applies to the indicated lane. Okay. Minimum speed limit by lane. The minimum speed limit shown applies to the indicated lane. In whichever lane you are, there is a circle and a speed limit in between written. Minimum you should drive at 80 km per hour, not lesser than that while passing through that lane. End of the minimum speed limit by the lane. These signs also typically indicate a lane ending. Circle. Regulatory signs. This section contains various signs that provide regulation. In Germany, as in UK, the standard shape for most regulatory sign is a circle. A red circle indicates something is prohibited, while a blue disc indicates something is required. No overtaking. You may not overtake other vehicle except bicycle, moped and motorcycles. No overtaking for vehicles over 3.5 ton. Vehicles with a permitted gross weight over 3.5 tons are not allowed to overtake any other vehicles except bicycle, moped and motorcycles. No overtaking. Passing of tractors and other designated slow moving vehicles is permitted. No overtaking. The no passing restrictions apply only to the vehicles with a permitted gross weight over 3.5 tons, buses, and any vehicle pulling a trailer. 8:30 to 18 hour. No overtaking. The no passing restriction is in effect only between 8:30 a.m. and 6 p.m. and applies only to the vehicles within a permitted gross weight over 3.5 tons, buses and any vehicle pulling a trailer. End of no overtaking zone. End of no overtaking zone for vehicles over 3.5 ton. End of all restriction. This sign cancel all previous speed limit and passing restriction. However, the general speed limit applies. Road closed. All vehicles are prohibited. A supplemental sign indicating often accompanies this sign. Motor vehicles prohibited. Applies to all motor vehicles except motorcycle and moped. Vehicles over 3.5 ton prohibited. 7.5 ton vehicles over 7.5 tons prohibited. a circle and truck in between. Circle and bicycle. Bicycle prohibited. Circle and a moped sign in between. Mopeds prohibited. Motorcycles and mopeds prohibited. A bike and a rider with a helmet. A bike and slash car below and in a circle with a dark border. Multiple prohibition. All motor vehicles, including motorcycles and mopeds, are prohibited. Minimum following distance 70 meter. Vehicle with a permitted gross weight exceeding 3.5 tons are required to maintain the indicated minimum following distance. Hazardous cargo prohibited. Vehicle transporting marked hazardous materials are prohibited. Water polluting cargo prohibited. Vehicle transporting more than 3,000 liters of water pollutant are prohibited. Smoke and like diagonals fry like emergency traffic restriction due to air pollution. Only vehicle displaying a valid emission inspection sticker are permitted, shown only when applicable. Umwelt zone, and there are three sign dash dash fry. Air pollution emission zone. Only vehicles displaying one of the indicated colored emissions inspection stickers are permitted. End of emission zone. Snow chains. A speed limit of 50 km per hour applies, shown only when applicable. Do not enter. One-way street. Traffic on the street must travel in the direction of arrow. Einbahnstraße. Einbahnstraße and a cycle symbol. One-way street. Bicycles are exempted and may travel in either direction. One-way street. The street you are on is one way. Mandatory direction of travel. All traffic must turn left. Mandatory direction of travel. All traffic must turn right. Mandatory direction of travel. All traffic must turn either left or right. Mandatory direction of travel. All traffic must continue straight ahead, that is, no turns. Mandatory direction of travel. All traffic must continue straight ahead or turn left, that is, no right turn. Mandatory direction of travel. All traffic must continue straight ahead or turn right, that is, no left turn and no U turn. Mandatory direction of travel. All traffic must turn left here. Mandatory direction of travel. All traffic must turn right here. Pass by on left. All traffic must pass the obstacles on the left side, that is, keep left. Pass by on right. All traffic must pass the obstacle on the right side, that is, keep right. Shoulder open to traffic. The right hand shoulder of this roadway can be used as a traffic lane. This is generally done only during periods of congestion to provide additional capacity. Shoulder lane ends. If you are in the shoulder traffic lane, you must merge to the left immediately. End of shoulder lane. Do not drive on the shoulder past this point. Pedestrian path. Pedestrian only. Pedestrian zone. Marks the entrance to an area reserved for pedestrian. All adjacent streets are included until the end of pedestrian zone sign is reached. End of pedestrian zone. Bicycle path. Fahrradstraße. Bicycles only. Bicycle path. Mopeds also allowed. End of bicycle path. Shared pedestrian and bicycle path. Pedestrian and bicycles only. Both can use the entire pathway. Split pedestrian and bicycle path. Pedestrian and bicycles only. Pedestrian and cyclists must keep to the side of the path indicated by the sign. Okay, pedestrian, if cycle. If it is cycle, cycle, pedestrian. Bus lane, all other vehicles prohibited. Bus lane, this sign shows which lane reserved for the bus. The three arrows and bus symbol on that arrow. Bridle path, horses only. Traffic claiming zone marks the beginning of an area where traffic claiming rules apply. End of traffic claiming zone. Tunnel posted at the entrance to a tunnel and indicates that low beam headlights must be turned on, that U-turns are prohibited, and the accidents or breakdown must be moved to a designated emergency wayside marks on a roadside bay inside a tunnel for stopping in case of emergency or breakdown. All other uses is prohibited. Autobahn entrance posted on Autobahn entrance ramp and indicates that Autobahn traffic regulations begin. Expressway entrance motor vehicles only. End of Autobahn located on Autobahn exit ramps and indicate that Autobahn traffic regulation ends. May also be used to warn that the Autobahn ends ahead. End of expressway. Parking signs. No stopping. Stopping or standing on the roadway is prohibited. No parking. Prohibits stopping on the roadway for more than 3 minutes except for passenger boarding, discharging, and loading unloading. Parking control zone posted at entrance to a neighborhood where a general parking restrictions applied to all streets in the area until the end of parking control zone sign is reached. A supplemental sign will indicate the exact restriction, such as requiring the use of a parking disc, voucher, or permit. End of parking control zone. No stop, no stopping end. This sign marks the end of a no stopping area. No stopping. Stopping or standing on the roadway is prohibited in either direction from this sign. No stopping start. This sign marks the beginning of no stopping area. If like a circle, cross, and the arrow to that direction in top of that cross. If it is bottom, no stopping ends. And if it is in the arrow is in on top of that cross, no stopping start. This sign marks the beginning of no stopping area. And circle only one diagonal is like slash. No parking end. This sign marks the end of a no parking area. No parking. Parking on the roadway is prohibited in either direction from this sign. No parking start. This sign marks the beginning of a no parking area. No stopping on shoulder. A cross, circle, a dash, and a car to the right hand side. So no stopping on a shoulder. Circle, cross, no parking on a shoulder. Not cross, just a diagonal line, a slant, diameter lines kind of. Taxi stand 5 Taksin. Taxi stand. This area is reserved for taxis only. Other vehicle may not stop here. The supplemental sign indicates the number of taxis allowed to wait here. Parking area marks an area where parking is permitted, also used to give directions to parking areas. Parking garage. Index parking facility marks or give direction to a numbered parking facility. Example, parking lot #8. P to STD. Like restricted parking, you must use a parking disc to park here, and you may only park for the length of time indicated. P. Restricted parking, you may park here only if you have an official handicapped permit. P. In a trailer. Special parking, parking for vehicles with a trailers allowed. The vehicle may remain parked for longer than 14 days. P. Special parking, parking for travel trailers allowed. Vehicle may remain parked for longer than 14 days. Parking area end. This sign marks the end of an parking area. It is directing to the right hand side. Parking area start. This sign marks the start of a parking area if it is indicating to the left hand side. Parking, and if it is left, direction to parking. P, and if it is directing to the right, direction to parking. I have completed reading the second part, where I have started reading from page 19 all the way to page 46. There is a last part remaining which I will continue after this. Thank you.